Greetings, I am Pete Pardo from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day 22 of 31 can't miss albums that the world missed out on. Thanks for joining. Each and every day here this month, we are looking back at these kind of underrated, underappreciated, totally deserving albums of more acclaim and success than they had when they were originally released. In some instances, they will be very notable bands who maybe had lots of hit albums, very successful albums that are beloved, but maybe there's one in the catalog that could have been just as good as any of those bigger albums, but for whatever reason, success didn't come. Could be more obscure bands who had these kind of can't-miss albums that inexplicably, maybe they got signed to a label, major label, but the label didn't push them. The album floundered, the band disappeared, and you have this classic album that just kind of sits out there that the world just never really discovered, right? Various reasons. Record label dropped the ball, radio dropped the ball, the media dropped the ball, right? Maybe they were a little too early or too late to the game based on what the popular musical trends were going on at the time, right? All sorts of things. This is another interesting band here I'm talking about in this album. This is the debut album from this American band. It was released on October 27, 1975, recorded by Wally Heider Studios in Hollywood, California, produced by Derek Lawrence and Big Jim Sullivan for Casablanca Records. I'm talking about the self-titled debut from Angel. Yes, indeed. The band signed to Casablanca Records. Of course, Casablanca riding high all of a sudden with this band called Kiss, right? Kiss was breaking right around this time as well. And the label figured, well, let's sign another rock band, see what we can do with these guys. We'll push them to the moon. We'll help them with their look, and hopefully we'll have some success because Kiss Alive is doing good business for us right now, and we think we've got the momentum. Let's do it. Yeah, didn't quite turn out that way, did it? I think Angel has had, because they're still around today, they had minimal success back in their heyday, but never quite lived up to the expectations I think that everybody expected or that maybe they deserved for various reasons. Meanwhile, their label mates Kiss went to become absolute superstars, right? So let's talk about the lineup on this debut album. Frank Domino on lead vocals, one of the great unheralded singers of the rock scene of this time period. Fantastic voice. Punky Meadows leading acoustic guitars. Greg Giuffria on keyboards, notably organ, piano, clavinet, harpsichord, mellotron, synthesizers. Mickey Jones on bass guitar and Barry Brandt on drums and percussion. So what do we have on this album? So one of the things that I've talked about for years when it comes to Angel, it's like I think early on they had this kind of hard rock meets progressive rock sound that I think by 1975 was kind of past its heyday. I think they were a little late to the prog game. Then starting really with their, I guess you could say their third album, second album is still pretty much like this. Starting with their third album, they've got this kind of more like rock and roll, hard rock thing, but kind of glammy, predating the hair metal scene. A little early to the game. I really think that Angel, if they would have come out with this debut album in like 1972, we might be talking about different things here. If they had come out with maybe their third or fourth album in 1984, 85, might be talking a different story here, right? I think they were too late and too early. Just not right on either front. But this first album is actually a marvelous prog rock album, like a heavy prog rock album, because it's definitely got loads of hard rock elements, but a good chunk of the album is definitely prog rock. I mean, it starts off with the two epic tracks. You got Tower, which kicks things off. You got these wild synthesizer things going on from Greg Giuffria. And then all of a sudden it settles into this kind of like moody but kind of heavy and proggy Uriah Heep, Deep Purple sort of a feel. Tower is just absolutely immense. Great vocals from Frank. And loads of mellotron on this album. You guys like mellotron and Hammond organ and synths? Man, it's galore. Greg Giuffria is putting out a clinic on this album. Tower is incredible. Long Time is another great song. Starts off again kind of with those Mellotron swells, eventually turns into more of a hard rocker. Great song, great vocals. Rock and Rollers is more of that kind of like, early Kiss, hard rock, boogie rock type of thing. That's one of the couple songs on the album that are kind of in that vein. You got Broken Dreams, which is absolutely terrific. Terrific. Mariner is kind of like almost like the Moody Blues. This haunting Mellotron, right? Absolutely exquisite vocals, great melodies. Sunday Morning, great rocker. Again, the Deep Purple Uriah Heep thing kind of going on through a lot of this album. On and On, great rock song. Terrific catchy chorus. Again, that should have been a single on this album. That should have been the hit. That's the thing about this album is like you got the more expansive kind of prog rock stuff, which in 1975, Genesis is still doing pretty good. Genesis will do even better. Yes is doing okay. Some of the other prog bands are having a hard time right about now. Tull's doing pretty good, but I think this more kind of like, loads of Mellotron, expansive atmospheric stuff, giving way to other things. Because, you got Punk is right around the corner here, too. On and On, a great song, though. Should have been a hit here. And then you got the Angel theme, instrumental, big symphonic thing finishing off the album. It's a really great album. I love to pop this in from time to time. I listened to it this morning before I tape this episode and thinking, yeah, this should have been a massive album. The second album is right along the lines. I mean, it really, and this album, so we have no certifications on this. We really have no charts anywhere. Here in the States, this peaked at like 155 or something like that, which, really, if you're peaking at 155, you're not selling diddly. You're not making an impact at all. And I would have to think that Casablanca was probably very disappointed with the showing of this and their next album. The next album did mildly better. I think that made it to like number 130 something here in the States. But again, doing nothing anywhere else. Their third album, however, is where they started to see some success. I think they dented the top 100. I think peaking at like in the 70s or what have you. But and the follow-up album after that also was in top 100, but no gold albums here, no platinum albums here, no hit singles here, which is really crazy to think because with they're starting with their third album and certainly the fourth and fifth, you've got songs on there that are very punchy, radio friendly, but again, they're more in that kind of glammy hard rock type thing, which in the late 70s, that's not really happening. So Angel comes out with that chunk of the catalog in the early mid 80s with that look. They would have been huge because I think Angel, they had like the white outfits, right? The long hair. They just had this look, the big platform shoes. They were a little too early for that. Even though Queen was having success with that sort of thing. But, Queen, I think, did it perfectly because Queen were blending the hard rock side, a little bit of the prog and that glam thing all together. Plus with some just absolutely massive songs, right? I don't know that Angel had any of those songs like A Bohemian Rhapsody or You're My Best Friend or Killer Queen, right? Not quite, but they did have some songs that I think could have had major impact. So Queen kind of made it work. Kiss kind of made it work. Angel, for whatever reason, I honestly don't know how much the label and like radio was really trying to push this band. Don't think enough. I think they had the tools they could have. Like I said, the band had the look. They had lots of songs. Just didn't quite happen. None of one of those could have been, should have been bands, right? And stories. So that's my pick for today. Angel, the self-titled debut. I've seen already some of you pick it in the comments below this month, so I know a lot of you were thinking that this is a perfect fit for this month. I absolutely agree. So that's my pick for today. Let us know what you think of Angel, the self-titled debut, down in the comments below, as well as your pick for today, and we'll see you tomorrow for another one, day 23. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, all together. All the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as a post. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, I got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, our Cameo page, and the Sea of Tranquility membership options. Thanks in advance for all your support, folks. Greatly appreciated. And we'll see you soon here with more stuff. Tonight, for those of you, alongside Martin Popoff, will be appearing on Guitar Hack. So go head over to Guitar Hack at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight for a live show. We'll be talking about, we've each picked out 3 bands that we absolutely love the guitar tone in these bands. So we'll be talking a little bit about guitar tone, how it's important to us, or maybe in Martin's case, how it's really not all that important, right? So tune in tonight for that. Tomorrow we've got, speaking of Martin, he and I will be talking about our 10 favorite Chris Sangarides productions, right? One of the great producers in hard rock and metal. We've got the Professor's Picks tomorrow. We've got Jamie Laszlo and the review crew on Saturday and Sunday, ranking the albums of Super Sister, Norwegian prog band, as well as Conception, great progressive metal, power metal band. George Lamy will be manning that one. So we've got myself on Super Sister, George with Conception, both of them coming on Sunday. Till then, I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good day. Take care.